Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 9. Module 9 is the first module that will cover the research paper itself. So the past two modules you have worked on your research, you've chosen a research topic, you have gathered sources, and you've written an annotated bibliography. Now what you're going to do is start outlining your ideas for your research paper. You'll also start drafting your research paper because that rough draft will be due soon as well. So we're going to go through several modules. We'll have an outline, a rough draft, a peer edit module, and then the research paper itself will not be due until module 12. So this is sort of an easier module to kind of bridge over that and start planning your essay. So the essay itself is here under the research essay assignment criteria. You will see this criteria from now on until you actually finish the paper itself. So the paper is using the topic that you presented for your annotated bibliography. Now you did your topic proposal 2 modules ago and was approved by me. Obviously, then you did the annotated bibliography. Once that annotated bibliography is done, you cannot change your topic. You have to use the same topic. You can expand your topic and you can narrow it down, but you can't completely change it. So for example, if you were looking at eating disorders and you wanted to narrow down to just anorexia for your topic for your paper, that would be fine. If you were looking at solar energy and you wanted to expand to include other types of renewable energy, that would be fine. But you can't move from anorexia to renewable energy and just change topics completely. So if you have questions about this, make sure that you let me know. So at this point, you have a bunch of sources, you have a bunch of information about your topic. Now you need to decide what you're going to do with it. You have 2 options. You can either make a persuasive essay or an argumentative essay. If your topic is argumentative in nature, so it has an argument that you can use, then use the argument option. If it's not, if you would rather do more of an informative essay, then I would choose that option. So if your goal is just to present information, then we choose the informative side. Some of you will have the choice of doing one or the other, and it depends on whether or not you want to address counter arguments, because that is one criteria that you can use if you want to, or you do not need to if you don't. So if you're doing the persuasive option, your goal is to write an expository essay, which is an essay that is to provide information but has a persuasive thesis to it. So it has a point that you want to make. It has a controlling idea that will help focus your essay and make an assertion rather than arguing a position. And so there will be some more information about this as you go through, but it will also help once you do the outline. I'll be able to direct you in your thesis statement. So that's really where you have to start, is deciding what you're going to do with this information. So we want to focus it. And how you focus it will depend a lot on your topic, but also on how you want to approach your topic. So some of you may have decided, well, I want to cover this subject, and then by the time you get to writing your essay, you're really just focusing on the history of this subject or something like that. So, and that's fine. So we're trying to narrow it down because you do have 7 to 9 pages to cover, but depending on how you approach it, you may very easily get to 7 pages and still not be done with the essay. So you may end up having to, I had a student do a biography of somebody, and they literally just covered the childhood in 7 pages. So you may have to narrow down your topic or change your approach to the topic as you start to write. So of your 12 sources that you found for the annotated bibliography, you need to use at least 8 for the essay. So we are also narrowing down sources. However, if you find as you're writing the paper that you don't have information that you need, you can always go and find more sources. So in fact, you don't need to use any of the sources from the bibliography, but that does just make what you just did sort of pointless. So I would recommend starting with the list you found for the bibliography, and then if you need to do more research as you go, that's fine. Just make sure you keep track of your sources. You will, of course, have lots of quotations, lots of paraphrases. Some things that students complain about or are uncertain about when they write this essay is they feel like they're not actually writing very much, and that's okay because this is a research paper. You should be lots of research in this paper. So the heavy emphasis is going to be on research, which means you're going to have a lot of citations, and that's fine. The other thing I want you to remember is that first person experience is acceptable in this essay. That's fine, as long as it is relevant to the essay itself. However, you do not want to be using second person, which is the reference to the reader. And the other thing that you can't do is include any part of the annotated bibliography other than your works cited entries. You are not providing a summary of each source that you looked at. That's not how we write a research paper. Your research paper is content-based and focused on content rather than on the sources themselves. So if you have questions about that, let me know. But the main thing that you're going to be doing in this unit, besides taking the quiz, which will cover more of paragraph construction, the Module 9 quiz, you'll also be completing your formal outline. And a formal outline is where you'll have a working thesis statement. You don't have your introduction, it's just a working thesis statement, and then there are main points that you're going to cover. I suggest having at least 5 main points because that's a good number to get 7 pages. You may end up, as you write your paper, you may end up with fewer or more. Your outline is just your plan, and so if your paper doesn't match your outline at the end, that's fine. Right now this is what we're planning. I don't have it linked here right now, but I will post an example, and so then you can use that example and you can download that file if you want to, so you can look at it and make sure that that you've got everything in there and in the order that you want. So the feedback that I leave you will be primarily on your thesis and then your order of organization, whether or not you need to switch any sections around. So that is the module. Like I said, there's not as much to it, the module itself. You're just taking the quiz and doing the outline, but this is a really essential part of the planning process of writing an essay. And so getting that outline in a good order and spending a little bit more time on it is pretty important to make sure that you are ready to start drafting when we get to the next module. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you